Yeah.
I'm not sure if Arunana has joined. I do see a caller. So should we start reading from where we left off, and hopefully.
Yeah.
So, Sarah. So what exactly is the cause of all grief? It is the attachment to the body that produces grief, as well as its immediate precursors, affection and hate. These two are the results of the intellect considering some things and conditions as beneficial, and some other things and conditions as not. This is a delusion, this idea of beneficence and malevolence. Still, you get attached to objects that are considered beneficial and you start hating the others. But from the highest point of view, there is neither. The distinction is just meaningless. There are no two at all. How can there be good and bad then? To see good where there is only one, that is Maya, or ignorance. The ignorance that plunged Arjuna into grief was of this nature, seeing many when there is only one. Absence of the knowledge of the identity of Tatwam, the word Tattva, used to mean principle, enshrines this great philosophical doctrine, is the cause of all ignorance. If this truth is not learned, man has to flounder in the ocean of grief. But if it is learned, and if man lives in that consciousness, then he can be free from grief. Many a prescription is recommended, used, publicized, and repeated parrot-like by all kinds of quacks, but they do not go to the root of the matter. They are balms applied to the eye to cure an ache in the stomach. The disease and the drug have no coordination. The ache must be spotted and diagnosed, and the drug must be such as will remove it. Then alone can it be cured. Narayana is the only medical expert who can do so. He has diagnosed Arjuna's illness correctly and decided on the treatment.
First paragraph, is there any question? Affection and hate are translated as raga dvesha. Raga dvesha. These two are the results of the intellect. Consider some things are very, very good and some things are bad. So we start hating those things which we do not like, and we like those things which we show affection to that. So Swami says this is a delusion. The idea of beneficence and malevolence is not in our, it is because of the mohama ajnana, the ignorance that we are, that are pure atma, that we forget, and then we start doing in dvaita, in duality, and we see some things are very good for us, some things are bad for us. So these are no two at all. It's only one, Swami is saying. That first paragraph, if we can discuss, if anyone has.
So, Auntie, but so basically Swami is saying there's no good and bad. There's only one.
Only one. That is Tattva Gnana. Only one which is good all the time. But we have got our own ideas imposed on the things, and then we like certain things very, very lovingly. We go towards that things, and then those we don't like to see it, we hate them. Because two ideas of good and bad are not there. Only one is there, Swami is saying, because of the ignorance. Seeing many when there is only one.
So, Auntie, last time whatever you said, yeah, if we follow that one, that like and dislike, and you emphasize last class too, because God doesn't have that two things, like and dislike. We also saying we also God, so we also supposed to practice in that way. We should not come to that level like and dislike too. If we practice, then because of the ignorance only, we are thinking in like and dislike.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you.
So the whole manifestation in this external world, whatever we see, whatever we perceive, whatever we experience, everything is only Atman, the Tattva Gnana. If you have, it is the God principle which has become the multi-sided things in this world. So we have to remember that the only reality is Atma.
So, Auntie, until we get to that stage of Advaitam, where we can see everything as one, and as long as we're living in this world and we have the attachment to the body, we still have to have that distinction of good and bad. Is it right?
We don't have to have that kind of feeling, Kalyani. It's our mind which is making all these mistakes. Mind and intellect are playing a game, showing to you that this is bad, that is good. And of course we believe in it and we live in it every day. From morning till evening we are living in with only those two ideas, that it is hateful, it is lovable. Yeah, but one's absence of the knowledge of identity of Tattvamasi, that's Tattva, is the cause of all ignorance. Because we are attaching ourselves to the body. The body consciousness is making you to see something is bad, something is good. When we realize that we are not this body, we are only that Atma, then your perceiving, your perception itself will change.
Right.
Yeah.
But we still need to, like, for example, if we wanted to, we have a choice between coming to bhajan or going to like a movie or something, like then we still have to make that distinction and choose one over the other. No,
there it is not the question of good and bad, Kalyani. It is praise and praise, which is good for you, for your own improvement, for your own development of that feeling that you are not this body. You make that discrimination only because of your own welfare.
Okay. So it's okay to think of something as what is good for me, but
what is good for you? Carry on, only follow that.
Yeah.
We don't have to hate any person as such, because we know that every person has divine in him. So if we look at them with that divine, that point of view, we will like everyone. We won't hate anyone. Isn't that?
Yeah. Yes.
Any other comment?
So that means like when you self-realization, you have the realized yourself, you are an Atma, and then you don't feel that this duality. That's right, Auntie?
Pardon me, I can't hear you, Baisa.
Okay, what I'm saying is like whenever you have the self-realization, you are the Atman. You realize that point, and then you don't feel that on the duality. Like, right?
We're still in that stage, where we are not able to differentiate between body and Atma.
Oh, okay.
Deha and Atma, we are still not reached that place. Yeah. It is not the work of one Janma. It's many births we have to take up to realize that truth. Anyway, there is hope for all of us. We are on the correct path. Someday we will be able to realize it.
Yeah, which is true. Like we have, I could feel it that we still need to go for a long way. For
Long
myself, I don't know about the other people, but I know that it's very, very
Yeah.
far.
Yeah,
But
it's
like,
very fun.
like you said, we need to have few more. I don't know how many births we still have to take.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, Auntie, thanks.
So, Auntie, I can tell one example for the good and bad. When we are walking and our shadow maybe fall onto the filthy side and everything, and good side too, but we don't, just because of the shadow on the filthy side is fell onto that one, we don't care. Same way, we had to practice that one.
Yeah, correct. Thank you.
So, Auntie, I'm just looking at the first paragraph, and based on what Kalyani asked and you answered, so I think for us to understand, like us choosing to do something that is good for our soul does not fall under this. It's more of like Swami asking, what exactly is the cause of all grief? It's us defining something is good because, like, let's say if something happens to us or something happens to someone we know, and us cause feeling grief as is, or this shouldn't have happened to us, or like bad incident. In that sense, feeling good and bad is, there's nothing. If we realize our soul will take everything happens for a reason and we'll be positive, we won't feel the grief. Same with like Arjuna, right, in the I mean in the Mahabharata, you're right, where the, like, standing up for the right thing and fighting, he's like, it's the attachment is what causing the grief, whereas good and bad. So in there is where the duality of this comes in, right? Not us choosing to go to movie or bhajan, because there's no good and bad there. It's just doing the right thing if you look at it.
Yeah, discrimination. But Narmada, this is all emotion, which is connected with your mind. Your mind says, this is good, that is bad, that is bad. The emotional feeling which takes you to hate some person or to love another person. That's it's in our minds. We make up a picture about somebody and then we hate that person or we love that person.
Right.
And we attach so much importance to their behavior, their work, their this thing, everything. We start loving or we hate. Yeah.
So this leads to, in a practical sense, so we see the worldview from our value, our perspective, not from the higher perspective.
No. Yeah.
So we create our own values and then we start judging ourselves and other. Our standard is me, and then against me, how the world is. So now what I'm understanding, Bhagawan is saying that see from the highest point of view.
Yes, correct.
So that way we will stop judging, we will stop telling what is right, what is good, but I will be only responsible of my action, not even anybody, not even kids, not even my husband. It's me and my spiritual progress, but everything is good.
Yeah, correct. I make up my own standard, as you say. I expect everybody to be of that standard. There, the question starts, the problem starts there. A kind of behavior from a person. I think my behavior is the best one, and I expect the same kind of behavior and response from other person. When that is not obtained, so and naturally you go to the extent of saying, oh, she's not good. She's not good. This one is good because he is resounding your own ideas, your own imaginary things. So that person is good for you, and the person who is saying according to him or according to her, she is responding to a particular situation in a particular way. But your idea, we should not try to impose our own ideas onto the other person's views.
You know what, Auntie, you have said something in Navratri, my husband, and we had an argument. We were just saying, oh, some people, those who don't eat meat during Navratri, but they drink. How can that be right? And we were just kind of in a debate where it's written that you can eat, but you can't drink. And, other people eat, though we are vegetarian. And I'm glad that the discussion came, what is our standard? Who we are comparing this with? That's their worldview. Whatever they are doing, that's their spiritual path. We can't judge what other they. what am I doing? What I am doing, is it right? Is it okay with me? If not, then we have to make, but we can't compare or judge other people.
Exactly.
Just to share.
Exactly. What you said is correct. You know, it is up to them whether they eat or they want to drink or do whatever they want. We have no say in that matter. It is up to each individual. He knows how he can, whether he wants to improve his standard and try to reach on the spiritual path, or he wants to remain in the same way. It is
Absolutely.
up to
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Next is, you want to discuss the second paragraph? What is Tatwam? Swami is saying. Tatwam means principle, that principle of that Atman. Paramatman is the principle, Tattva. The absence of knowledge of the identity of Tatvam is the cause of all ignorance. Again, the same thing is repeated. We are identifying ourselves with the body, saying that I am this body, I am this person, I am that everything I, mamakara, ahankara. This is because of that. We don't know we are that divine. We are that part of that Paramatma, an Amsha, a small ray is there in us. Because of the lack of knowledge of this particular idea, we get all confused.
What is the second two lines? Maybe I'm not able to understand. Narayana is the only medical expert who can do so.
Yeah. Swami gives an example, you know, when there is a pain in the stomach, you are applying kajal on your eye. Is it going to help? The balm applied to the eye cannot cure the ache in the stomach, he says. Because that is surrender to Narayana. Surrender to Narayana, who is the only medical expert who can do so. That is what Arjuna did. He realized his own mistake, and that thereby he became a rightful person for Krishna to teach him. And then he gave the Bhagavad Gita lessons. It's not only meant for him, but for all of us. So Krishna, Narayana, to go and surrender ourselves to Narayana, just like how Arjuna did to Narayana. Shishtasteham, last time I read that sloka, no? Shishtasteham, Shadimam, Prapanna. So that is the ultimate surrender which Arjuna did. Like that, you know, we are thinking that we are doing everything. We are the body, so we know how to do. That ahankara, mamakara is taking us into a wrong path. When we leave everything, doing our duty, of course, we have to do our duty and surrendering to Narayana. Oh, well, God, you teach me. Whatever is good for me, you teach me. I will follow. So that is the best way of, that's why Narayana is the medical expert. I think, Shivani, am I okay? Correct?
Yes, Auntie, it does make sense to me now.
Yeah.
So in our now, so basically we should surrender ourselves to Swami's teaching, just follow those.
Correct. But you should not leave your dharma. You should not leave your dharma. Everything okay, you take care. No, that's not it. We are at each stage of our life, in each ashrama wherever we are, we have to do the prescribed duties directed by the scriptures, as well as our gurus, as well as our elders. So we listen to them and we do follow that dharma. Then surrender yourself. Okay, Bhagawan, I have done everything, whatever I can do. And you do whatever you want to do. You teach me, or you give me the result for what I have done.
It's a very peaceful way to live.
But we should never leave our dharma. We should never ever leave our duty. As a mother, you have to take care of your children. As a wife, you have to take care of your family. So my stage is different. I'm alone, and then, you know, I have got an opportunity to serve my family, and I'm doing that. That's it.
You know, I don't know if I don't take long. This is maybe I have discussed in the past, but I don't mind sharing here that there was a time when I was giving an exam. It was, and I didn't pass first time. And
Okay.
it's a very tedious exam. You have to study a lot, and at the same time, I was doing other things as well, towards the center, towards the family. And I told exactly this came to my mind. Swami, I'm not going to deviate from my dharma, like not cooking and not doing what activities I'm involved at the center. Whatever time I have, I'm going to study. And if this is not my path, then guide me. What else can I do in my career, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain. I hope I will able to explain. So 2 days before the exam, I was just talking to Swami in my mind. I did whatever I could study, but I don't think so I have studied enough, but I'll go with this. And I didn't waste time. Means I'm not sitting on the sofa watching TV and saying I did my dharma. I did my dharma as a mother or as a wife and as an employee and as a Sai devotee at the Sai Center. They need me. I didn't deviate from that. And I was not cutting corners. So whatever I did, and my exam is 2 days. So please help me, whatever it is. If I don't pass, it's okay. Then it might be something else you have planned. I was worried, but in few seconds, the minute I finished that, there is a feeling of peace, means no worries. Like there was nothing in my mind. Totally. It was so peaceful. And in fact, my daughter said, Mom, you are not one of those people 2 days before the exam. You must be sitting until 2 o'clock and you're sitting with us. I said, I did my part now. It was so peaceful, Auntie. It was so peaceful feeling.
You surrendered. You surrendered.
Yes. And a day before the exam, I caught a call from that association. And they said there's so many changes happen in our organization. So what we are doing is, you don't need to write an exam. We will consider your last time attempt and you graduate. You pass. You got the certification without writing.
Wow. What a wonderful news it was.
I didn't even go for the exam. And for 1 hour, I was sitting there and I said, it has never happened in the history. It didn't happen after that. Yeah, of course, there might be other people, but they said, Shivani, we have changes. And, you were just 2 or 3 points less, but we are considering you pass, you get the designation. You don't need to write the exam. We will send you your certification designation as a professional trainer. So goodbye.
Very nice. Very nice. What a wonderful news you're giving. Swami's, he shows his divinity, when we surrender ourselves, he will help us. We have to have that faith. Complete, ultimate surrender to Swami will make you peaceful. He will give whatever is necessary for us, whatever is right for us, whatever is good for us. That is.
And adding to what you were saying, don't deviate from your dharma.
Yeah. You are doing all the duties.
You have to do your dharma as a mother or as a daughter or as a daughter-in-law. You do the best and surrender to Swami, and he will take, because he's so compassionate.
Yes, correct. That's correct.
So, Auntie, that the last 2 lines, I like to add some points too. Narayana is the only medical expert, because Arjuna is very, very capable in the spiritual side. He knows most of the side. Only he has the problem with the desire and attachment. And if you look at that one, only Lord Krishna can help him, because he is the only one going to respect in this situation time, the war time, because he's a brother-in-law. I'm sorry, he's a brother-in-law, and not only that, he's the advisor for the team, and they have the full respect for him. So ultimately, he has to only person he can listen to Lord Krishna. Thank you.
Right from the beginning, what Swami is insisting is, Arjuna was in a fault. He was at fault. He was attaching his all his affection to only because his grandsire was there, his guru was there, his other uncles were there. That is the only thing which he was doing. And Swami says, Krishna, once he recognized those faults, and Arjuna he recognized his own faults rather. Krishna said, okay, you are now correct. You are the right person for me to teach you Bhagavad Gita. So that is how he diagnosed Arjuna's problem and decided on what kind of treatment he should give. That is how he goes on teaching. the Gita to him. Yeah. If there is no other, why Arun is not here? I don't know where he is.
Yeah, he said he'll dial in. He'll try to dial in, but I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Should we go to the next paragraph or?
Auntie, one other question on this paragraph. It says, so Swami saying, many a prescription is recommended, used, publicized, and repeated by all kinds of quacks, but they do not get to the root of the matter. What is Swami referring to? Like, what are these other prescriptions?
Yeah, the other prescriptions, what else can be there, to remove this ignorance, many kinds of things. I don't understand what other kinds of the other prescriptions which is recommended. Is it karma marga or jnana marga or bhakti marga? But all of them are helping a person to realize his own self. They cannot go waste like that. But Swami is saying here, I think when Arun comes, we can ask him. But in Telugu, Swami, what he is saying is completely, it is because of this ajnana. Dukkamula nundi manudu vimukti pondagaladu. That's what he is saying.
So the illness of Arjuna is ajnana?
Arjuna is still in that maya. He is still in the moha, attaching himself to that my uncle, my grandfather, my everything, that mamakara is there in him. That was the only fault which the Arjuna had. But he had fought many wars, even before those wars also. All his grandsire, his gurus, everybody had come, but he defeated them. But now, all of a sudden, what happened to him? What happened to him? Suddenly, that mamakara comes to him. That my grandfather, my guru, that mamakara suddenly appears to him, and maybe perhaps Krishna was waiting for him to come to this stage where he could give Gita to him. What other prescriptions may be recommended? I think used, publicized, repeated, parrot-like by all kinds of quacks. Quacks are the doctors, who fake people.
Yeah.
Is it like all the scriptures, other scriptures, maybe other, dharma marga, prema marga, all are there. People can recite like parrot, but they're not going to the deep down that what is the cause of our pain. For example, they might do, fasting or other things, but they're not realizing what is the cause of my real pain is seeing the duality. So we can recite Swami's teachings or quotes by heart anytime anybody says I can recite and show my wisdom, but at the same time I am lacking in practicality of it, understanding the higher self of myself.
Yeah, maybe this is also, maybe you do this yaga, you will get that one. You do this vratam, you will get this one. Or you go fasting, you will get this one. All these are, these are recommended. Kalyani, I think you get an idea of what and Shivani is trying to tell you.
Yes, that makes sense.
We follow so many things. We vratam, I'm going to write 1008 these things, recite 1008 Gayatris. I will write Sai Ram, books after books. So these are all recommended only for you to for your concentration. They are all recommended, not for the final prescription, which is given by Krishna to remove that ignorance. So yes, exactly. I think that's where we are stuck there. Many prescriptions are given. No, you do this vratam, you will be rid of all your problems. You do this yaga, you'll get whatever you want. So such things are there, these are all prescriptions. And there, as Shivani said, we just repeat like a parrot. so many things. You can do this, you can do that. But doesn't that, the root matter, the root cause for all this moha is that ajnana. Yeah, I think so. That's where it's.
So, Auntie, I like to add one more point. The reason is you can find so many books, but you have to find a books that talk about the reality, the truth. So that is, you will find it on the spiritual side, like Geetha. Thank you.
Okay. There are books, published like Moksha in 5 minutes, Moksha in 10 days. They come up with all these titles of the books. That's correct. I think that's not going to help us. That's not going to help us.
So the last sentence where it says he has diagnosed Arjuna's illness correctly and decided on the treatment. So based on what you said, Auntie, so the illness is ajnana and the treatment is jnana.
Ahankara and mamakara. First, let us see that first. The basic point, then we will go. First of all, that ahankara and mamakara. So he thinks, I can defeat them, but I'm not going to defeat them.
Okay.
Yeah, that ahankara is there with him, Arjuna. And mamakara, it's mine. Everybody is mine, the opposite army. Mine and aham. That is I-ness and minus.
Yeah.
These two are the reasons.
And the treatment is the knowledge, like the
treatment is the knowledge that you are not going to kill any Bhishma or any Drona or any Kripacharya. They're all bodies. I have already killed. The next shloka will tell you. We are going to read in the next paragraph. Then you are feeling unnecessary grief for the persons who don't deserve to be grieved. Krishna is going to say it in a very strong word, strong statement.
Auntie, as now we said that ahankara and mamakara is the one Krishna diagnosed it on the Arjuna and to help him to remove that, right? So what was the reason before? Like these are the things he didn't have it. Like he's in the ignorance, he's in the mamakaram and all. What was the good thing Narayana has seen on him to cure these things? First he has to see the right thing and see saying, oh, this is not the right, things are bad. So he thought to cure that. So what was the thing made him to choose Arjuna? Is we have to identify. Then at least we can try and do something, and few things, the God grace, we will get it kind of, right?
Aruna, this last paragraph, I don't know, Narmada, can you go to the last paragraph which we read there, Tvameva, all those things, Prapannam. Prapannam.
Yeah, it's the previous page, I think.
That's, can you, I can't, now, no, Prapanna, that's it. The same subject is mentioned in the 7th shloka of the 2nd chapter of the Gita. Swami just said that 7th shloka of afterwards I read it in Telugu. There, Aruna, there is a word which is not translated here. It is called Anubandha Chatushtayam. Swami is saying Anubandha Chatushtayam. What are those? I didn't know that. Yesterday I was reading this paragraph and I referred to the dictionary, and then I found out this meaning. That is, you have to have 4 stages in Anubandha Chatushtaya. There are 4 things. What are they? First is Adhikari. Second is Vishayam. Third is Prayojanam. And the 4th one is Sambandham or Phalitam. So, this kind of knowledge cannot be given to an ordinary person. You have to have, you have to have that deservedness to be Adhikari. That's what he says. In English, it was not given. So that's why I'm reading out to you. In Telugu, Swami has given. Because in the 7th shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Swami is saying there is Anubandha Chatushtayam. There are 4 qualifications which sequentially go. Yeah, sequentially go. One is Adhikari. When Arjuna completely surrendered to Krishna, then he became the deserving candidate. First thing was, you have to have that Adhikari. You have to become a proper person to receive the receptacle, should be clean, should be ready to grasp what the Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna is saying. So Adhikari, the first one is called Adhikari. That's the first stage. Then you come to Vishayam. Vishayam is the subject. What subject are you going to teach that person, whether he is able to understand, whether he is able to follow? All these things are considered. That is the second qualification. So the third qualification is Prayojanam. What is the use for him? What is the use for him after learning this subject? Is he going to do it, use it in a proper way? Is he going to misuse it or put it for good use? That is Prayojanam. The last one is Phalitam, or what result is he going to get? So these four stages, Swami has briefly mentioned in the Telugu, Anubandha Chatushtayam. So I was wondering what this should be. So I referred to the book, the dictionary, and then I found out. So this is this thing. Swami is saying here.
What is translation for, what is the English translation for Anubandha Sadhushtayam?
Anubandha Chatushtayam, the four important qualifications.
Oh, Anubandha Sadhushtayam.
Qualifications for somebody to receive the knowledge. Is it okay?
Yes, Santi. Thank you. Now, these qualification, he had it only.
He had it.
The Krishna decided to take the Mamakara. And oh, yes.
If
and,
tomorrow you and I, if we have that candidate, that receptacle, he will give it to us also. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Thank you so much.
Can you explain the Adhikari again? Sorry, I missed that part. The first one?
Adhikari is the rightful, deserving candidate.
Oh, okay.
You should be ready to receive the knowledge given by Lord Krishna. You should be able to understand what is the use of just throwing all your knowledge on a person who does not know anything. Supposing I go to a mathematics class and higher class and BSc class, I sit there and then, do I know anything? I don't know anything about maths. So that's why you have to be an Adhikari. Adhikari means the rightful person. You should have had a kind of background knowledge about scriptures and other things, a little bit background. So you become an Adhikari. Second is Vishaya, that is a subject matter, what he is going to teach. So that makes, I think, a little clear what Aruna's question was. Yeah. When we can go to the next.
Thank you so much, Auntie. Thank you.
Does this come in the English where Swami is saying the word prapanna used there indicates that Arjuna has the qualification, the discipline of bhakti?
Yeah.
Is that where this sentence would come?
I read it like this. Okay, 1 minute. Prapannam anudhi adhikara lakshanamu. Prapanna means he has that deservedness. He is a really candidate to whom this knowledge can be given. So adhikari lakshana. Prapanna, when he says that, that means he has got that quality of receiving things. There that Swami has used that word. Geetha yandu rendava adhyayamuna 7వ శ్లోకమున అనుబంధ చతుష్టయములను చెప్పెను. Prapannam anunadi adhikar lakshanamu. So when we surrender ourselves, we become not ordinary surrender. Just like Arjuna said, he put down all his weapons on the ground and saying that, Krishna, you tell me now what should I do? I am in the battlefield. The next moment I have to fight with them or not to fight with them. Tell me what is true. So when he asks like that, he becomes the real deserving candidate. Okay.
Thank you, Auntie.
So, Auntie, one more point here, that deserving candidate, that is the best candidate among all those 5 people compared to even Dharma. Dharma when they playing the dice, and he didn't think about Lord Krishna at the same time. And he, after the things happen, he will worry. But Krishna has more knowledge in the what he call Achari, and not only that, he's not going to once he win or lost the war, he's not going to worry that much. But same thing in Ramayanam too, Dasaratha gave the two promise to Kaigeyi, but he didn't think about what is going to happen later, and he's worried.
Yeah.
So those are the reason, and he selected Arjuna to teach the Geetha.
Yeah. Arjuna had a real presence of mind to accept Krishna as his guru.
Yes.
And he surrendered himself, and he was a person who was also a king also, no? He was one of the kings. So in future, if the Gita is given to a Raja, the Praja will follow him. The people will follow exactly what the Raja does it. That's why in those days, all the kings were very, very scholarly and very wise people. So whatever they followed, their subjects also followed the same thing.
Thank you, Auntie.
Sorry, Ramanti, I had a question actually just about Yudhishthira and that dice game. Was it something wrong that he did, or was that part of his dharma?
No, he did a wrong thing. Why should it was a prohibited game? Why should he do that? Because he had a weakness. He had a weakness for playing, just like any person. You have a weakness for alcohol, weakness for something else. So he had a weakness for playing that game. So Shakuni knew that. His mama, Duryodhana's mama, knew that weakness. He said, let us make use of this weakness. That's how they called. And it was foolish on his part, Dharmaraja, to go and then play that game.
And because he went twice, didn't he?
He won twice, but it makes him, just like lottery ticket. When you go to you win something, so you are encouraged to invest more. One time, first, twice, thrice, 4 times, then 5th time you lost everything. You lose everything. That's how it happened.
Sai Ram, this is Sakku auntie.
No,
You gave 4 qualifications. The 4th one is Anityam. That can you?
Phalidam.
Phalitam, result. What result you are going to get?
Adityam?
Phalitam. Phal. Palam.
Okay.
What is the result that you are going to get? If you use that knowledge, properly, what result are you going to get? That is Palitam.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sai
Ram. We can go to next slide, Kalyani. I think so. We had to discuss it.
Aruna has joined us as well.
Oh, Aruna has joined. Very good.
I was trying to talk, but I don't think you could hear for some reason.
No, we could not.
Yeah, I think, I didn't know how to, I've given the instruction how to unmute from the phone, but I forgot that. So, and I was driving, so I didn't want to try it too much.
Oh, Aruna, if you had said something not proper, you can correct me. And,
No, what? No, I think there were a few questions which were discussed. I think the first question was Kalyani is asking, as long as we are living in the body, shouldn't there be good and bad? I think that was a question she asked.
Yeah.
I think discrimination matters, Kalyani, and I think that falls under the term dharma. Okay, you have to do what is right. Not because you like something or dislike something or you like the results of something or unlike. I think that was one point I thought I will mention. I think others have mentioned, and I think you all talked about prescription. What are other prescriptions? But I think you all figured it out.
Yeah, that's good.
The reality is there are so many gurus suggesting so many things today, and people get carried away, and there are thousands and thousands of people. Go and Krishna is telling, until you know that you are Atman, no other solution will work to overcome grief. I think
that
that's
we
what.
discussed. That we discussed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so those are the two things which I tried to say, but there's no need. So
No, it's okay. It's okay. You know, I came across that word, Arun,
yes,
Anubandha Chatushayam. Anubandha Chatushayam Swami uses when
I see.
So
Okay.
I found out what it was. First
Okay.
one, the stages. There are stages in qualification for a proper deserving candidate. They are
Arhudu or Adhikari.
Arhudu Adhikaridu. Adhikari, Vishayam, Prayojanam, and Palitam. These are the 4 stages. When I was trying to explain to them. Yeah.
Uncle, you said that we should do what's right because it's our dharma, but without any like or dislike. So shouldn't we like to do what's right? Like, shouldn't we have an affinity or it?
See, even spirituality should not be sought with likes and dislikes. You know, because the likes and dislikes belong to the body and mind.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you see. So the thing is, you follow the dharma because it will allow you to identify that you are the Atma. Is it because like means the like and dislike are mental dvaita bhava? You understand? So that's what we should try to. But of course, you know, if you don't have any other desire, at least have desire for God. You know, that's at least making it positive. I think Auntie talked about, you know, writing, doing likita javam, doing chantings, going for bhajans, all that. It's good activities, but they don't necessarily get you the end result. I think Auntie has already explained. So if you want to consider it like, I think it's okay at the physical level to have that like for God is better than anything else. I think that's my understanding. So,
Okay.
So this is Sapu Aunty. I just want to ask you, if you do all the ritualistic prayers or worship, that is it's good habit, it's good actions, but it won't take you to the ultimate destination. Is that right?
yes, Auntie, they are necessary things, but we should not be complacent thinking that that's going to take us somewhere.
Okay, thank you.
Then there are people who say, oh, Swami said there's no need for bhajans and all this. Now we'll stop it and then we will realize Jnanamin. That will also not happen.
No.
There are people who say Swami has said there's no use. They are like empty rituals, you know, things like that. But Swami will say that's needed until you get to that point. So you cannot throw away the boat when you're still in the river. You have not crossed. Okay. But
Thank
the thing is, you have to reach the other shore. That is more important. I think that's what it is.
You have to read this one, huh?
Yeah, so we're on the next slide, right?
Yeah.
The wound that will not be healed by external application of balms has to be cured by internal remedies. So Krishna prodded Arjuna with queries. Why do you weep like a coward? Is it because Bhishma, Drona, and the rest are about to be killed? No, you weep because you feel they are your men. It is egoism that makes you weep. People weep not for the dead, but for the dead are theirs. Have you not killed until now many who were not yours? You never shed any tears for them. Today you weep since you are under the delusion of these whom you see before you are somehow yours in a special way. When you sleep, you are unaffected by this feeling of I and mine. So you are unaware what happens to your body or your bodies of these your men or your possessions, items which you carefully remember while awake. Mine is the possessive case of I, and so it comes in its trail. The fundamental ignorance, my dear fool, is the identification of yourself with something that is not you, with the body. Deha, material body, is an Atma, non-self. You believe that is the Atma, divine self. What a topsy-turvy bit of knowledge is this. To cure this Anyana, I must administer the medicine of Jnana, wisdom itself.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. In Telugu, Swami is talking about grammar, vibhakti. That case, nominative case, possessive case, those cases, we study in English also. In English, we have got that vibhakti. How to say it, Arun?
So I don't think anyone knows, Auntie.
Vibhakti.
So yeah, you are right.
It's a Pratama Vibhakti I. Mama comes as a Shashti Vibhakti, sixth case. So Swami in Telugu translation he is using, let me read it. Aham Pratama Vibhakti. Modata undedi. Mama Shashti Vibhakti. Taruvat vastundi. So he's talking about that I, Pratama Vibhakti. Mama comes as a Shashti Vibhakti. So it has affected you in this case. Mine is the possessive case of I. So it comes in its trail. When you started feeling that I first you said, and then it is followed by mine. I and mine. So first comes I, and then mine comes later on. That's Swami is saying. Saira.
Saira, and it's very Swami very nicely puts it in a very subtle way. The word vibhakti means their separation. I think earlier we saw avibhakta bhakti. Swami has used the word. Okay, that means that is tvam eva aham. That you are I is Swami calls it avibhakta bhakti. That means there is no separation, there is no differentiation. But in Sanskrit grammar, it's the word which you use for I, then I becomes an object, then from me, belongs to me, in me, to me, all that is different vibhaktis. So in Tamil, the word is vetrumai. That means you are separating yourself. With each step, you are separating yourself. So Swami says that I become the object of somebody's attention. Then because of me, it happens. Okay, then it has to happen to me, or then it belongs to me. All that are called different case. In English, the word technical term is safe case affix. Case affix. They are possessive. There are many. There are 7 of them. But
Yeah.
English
nominative case, objective case, possessive case, and then one more case. I remember Sambodhana.
Accusative, like that.
Accusative.
It'll become as. I didn't even try that in the Sanskrit class because people will get bored.
Yeah, of course.
There'll be a separation between them and me, so I didn't try that.
Yeah, but here Swami is particularly saying Pratama Bhakti, Shashti Bhakti. That's why I brought this to your attention.
So as soon as we say I, there's a differentiation. Then there are different degrees of differentiation, which is what vibhakti is. Like, of, to, from. In English, that's the way it works. From me, to me, because of me, mine. All these are actually case affixes, which is actually arising from this concept of I. And so in Tamil also, vetrumai is the word which is used. That means there is separation. You think I am separate from somebody else. So all these are vibhakti. That's the way they have differentiated.
In Tamil Vyakaranam, you must be having the same case.
Vetrumai. It's called Mudalam Vetrumai, Rendam Vetrumai. I don't know how many Tamil people on this call know that.
Unless you are a student of language, you may not be.
Grammar, Tamil grammar, if all of us talk Tamil. So that's called Vetrumai Todar. But otherwise it will become a grammatical discussion. But Swami has used it very, I don't know. Swami is very good in using these words in such a way that that separate each vibhakti takes us further and further away from God.
Yeah.
So from I to me, from me, mine, all that will take farther and further and further. So that's that sense Swami is thought of telling here.
Yes, correct.
So that entire word vibhakti, does that whole word mean separate, or does it have?
Yes, vibhakti means separation.
Oh.
So that's why Swami used the word Tvameva aham, you are I. Swami calls it avibhakta bhakti. That means a devotion where there's no separation between the Lord and us. I and you are one.
Wow. So is that why it's called vibhakti in Sanskrit? Like those terms? Do you think that's it?
I think the internet connection.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I think I lost internet connection. I think it looks like.
No, you're okay. You're okay. Now you're okay.
It says my internet connection is unstable. So
I know. Everywhere the same.
So Kalyani, you understood avibhakta bhakti is what is Advaita bhakti is avibhakta bhakti. That's the word Swami used in Telugu. I think Auntie would have read it last week. Like, see, the first surrender Swami says, I am yours, you are mine. There's vibhakti. But I and you are one, there's no vibhakti. That's the way Swami is telling. So even in devotion, there is sometimes separation between God and us, but we have to narrow that or eliminate it. So that sort of Swami is trying to.
It seems kind of hard to conceptualize like what is avibhakta bhakti, because if you don't have two things, like what are you having bhakti towards, or I guess it's beyond conceptualization maybe.
No, I think Swami has said, actually all of us have it, the experience, because who do you love the most in this world?
Ourselves, probably.
That's bhakti. Bhakti, but so who do you love the most in the world? You love yourself. But the problem is, as long as we think we are body, we think we are separate from our body is different from somebody else's body. Our mind is separate from somebody else's. But as soon as you identify that I as your Atman, then you will not have separation. So all of us have that ability to love ourselves, because, but by identification with the body is the one which causes the problem. Okay. Bhakti is nothing but love.
I think the first thing comes is to take care of our loving our body, making ourselves good to look at, taking care of our health, good food. These are all first for the body. And then we think of self. I think that's the loving of self first, the loving of body first, and then later on self.
Auntie, the body also important to realize this I within us, right?
Yes,
so
correct.
We have to take care.
We have to take care. But some people overdo it, That is not recommended. by our scriptures or by any guru.
At a certain point, are you supposed to go beyond that and not even care at all about how you look? Or should you always have maintained some level of caring about how you look or how you appear to other people?
We have to care for our body. We have to care, at least for in the society where we live, we can't go ourselves as a disheveled hair or dirty clothes. You know, we can't go there. We have to have some kind of appearance, good appearance.
See, I think, Kalyani, if you are going to, you have to cross the river, you need a boat. Okay, as long as we understand why the boat is there with us and why do we have to take care of it, is only to cross the river. Once you cross the river, you don't need the boat. Until you cross the river, you need to have the boat in good shape, just for the journey. Okay. Even grooming ourselves, Swami says we should not groom to impress others. We should groom to please others. So it's a lot of difference. So that groom to please others means others will not find us unsightly.
Yeah.
Okay. That is seva. You know, but the thing is, if we try to impress, or you know, we want to show that we are better than others, then I think it's gone on the wrong track. So I think that distinction, I think, is important. So until then, we need the body. Actually, there is some devotees who have sung, you know, we thought our body was all filth. Then we realized that in the body there is God, and then we treated it as temple. You know, so it's like that. Treating the body as temple is different from, you know, thinking body is everything. I think that's the difference.
Can you tell, when you said pleasing is different than impressing? Impressing, I understand. Pleasing others. Body is to
No,
please.
it's not. We should be pleasing. Our look should be pleasing to others. That means they shouldn't close. They shouldn't say, "I cannot bear to look at you the way you look." Okay. So Swami said, actually, in one of the discourses during our student day, Swami said, many of you think seva means going and sweeping the, streets, going and painting and cleaning up a temple. No, he says, when you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth. When you brush your teeth, you should think no one should be able to feel any bad smell from my mouth. For that, you, okay, if comb your hair and groom it so that people don't have to see the unsightly sight of your unkempt hair. Wear clothes, very neat, clean clothes, so people, you know, will not be turned off by that. Okay, that is so that not harming other people's, you know, senses. But impressing others means we want to do something so that others will be bowled by that. You know, oh my gosh, you know, that person looks so beautiful or anything like that. That is then taking the attention away. So I think it's different. That's what I understand, sister.
Thank you.
Like if you want to keep your house clean and tidy, one thing. If you want to spend a lot of money and decorating, that's a second thing, you know. You know, it's like that. You know, so.
I'm just curious, what's the translation for that sentence where it says, what a topsy-turvy bit of knowledge is this?
Yeah. నీ అజ్ఞానం మరేమి చేసినా తీరు దీనికి జ్ఞానమే దివ్యోషితం అని ప్రథమంలోనే ఆత్మ జ్ఞానకు ఉపక్రమించిన అది ఏ రెండవ అధ్యాయం topsy-turvy bit of knowledge is this. అనాత్మను ఆత్మగా తలచుట విపరీత జ్ఞానము. It is called viparita gnana. topsy-turvy bit of knowledge is called Viparita Gnana. Thinking one thing for another. That is called Viparita Gnana.
Like we just have it backwards. Is that what it means? But
you are taking Anatma as Atma. You are taking Anatma as Atma and you are believing it. That is Viparita Gnana.
Okay.
In Telugu, Swami says that. Swami is giving the example of sleeping state. In deep sleep, you forget that this one is mine, that one is mine, and my own people, my own this thing, my wealth, my property. All these things that we don't have a feeling at all. You forget about yourself. So only when you are awake, all these ideas come to you. That's what Swami is saying. You are unaware what happens to your body or bodies of these. Your men or to your possessions, items which you carefully remember while awake. If everybody is okay.
It's okay, I guess.
Yeah, we can.
Thus, Krishna started.
Yeah. Okay.
Krishna started giving him, in the very first instance, the most effective drug, jnana. This is detailed from the 11th shloka of the 2nd chapter. This is a key shloka for all students of the Gita. Krishna condemns outright two objections that were haunting Arjuna for long, saying that the destruction of the body does not mean the destruction of the Atma, and that he is grieving for those he need not grieve for. Prajnanavadam cha bhaches. I hope I said that.
Pragnanavadamscha bhashase.
You talk like a wise man. You say this is dharma and the other is adharma, as if you know how to distinguish them, said Krishna. Here attention has to be paid to the one fact. Arjuna is suffering from the two types of delusion, ordinary and out of the ordinary. To confuse the body with oneself and pine for the body as if something has happened to you is the ordinary delusion. To discard one's own dharma, in this case the dharma of Shastriya, warrior, as a dharma, is a delusion out of the ordinary. Krishna destroys the first and removes the second. The first is dealt with from the 12th to the 30th shloka of the 2nd chapter. Krishna has to tackle the second as a special problem and explain in 8 shlokas the idea of Sudharma, or his own dharma, to Arjuna. These are collectively called Dharmakshastras.
Dharmashtakas.
Dharmashtakas. So dharma does not bind and produce further birth. It can lead on to liberation. It has to be done as karma yoga, without attachment to the fruit. Towards the close of the 2nd chapter, there is also the description of the successful aspirant who has steadied himself in a purified intellect, the
Sthita
Prajna.
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 Arun, can you read that 11th shloka of second chapter Swami is saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Can I read it or you read?
Yes, auntie. Yes, you can read, auntie. Swami is.
In Telugu, it is given.
Yes,
but
yes, that's I sure.
It's called, Swami says it is the Bija Shloka Muga Bhavinchaval. No, it is the most important shloka. Swami
As the
says.
seed.
Yeah,
It's the seed of. It's the seed of jnana.
Asocyananvachostvam prajna vadamsha bhashase gatasu nagatam suscha nanushocanti panditaha. Yeah, that is the second 11th shloka of the second chapter. You are grieving for that person who don't deserve to be grieved. Ashochan anvachostvam, and you talk like a very wise man. Prajna vadamsha bhashase. That's what it is. Yeah. Gatasu nagatasumscha nanushanchati panditaha. Those who are already
Pandita. The Pandita.
No, Pandita. Wise people will not talk about, they think about like that.
So they neither cry for that which is left gone and that which didn't go also.
Yeah.
Gatamshu, agatamshu. The thing is, so so Krishna is pointing out to Arjuna, you're talking like a wise person, but you are grieving for that which need not be grieved for.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then you are thinking that you are talking prajnana. Prajnavadam.
You talk like a wise person.
Wise person. But then he says Pandita means one who considers himself a scholar, if you want, so a wise person, will never grieve either for the ones which are gone or that which is not gone. Because we are grieving for both in most cases.
Yeah.
And he says he will not be grieved by grieving for anything. Sochati means to grieve.
Grieve. Swami in this sloka pointing out two delusions of Arjuna. One is you are grieving for the body, but not for that. That destruction is not for the Atma, and you are talking like a Pandita. That is the second type of moha. So first moha is sadharana moha, samanya mohamu. Rendavadi asadharana mohamu. So the first one is dehame atman anukuni deha dharmanni atmayandu aropinchuta sadharana mohamu. He is very clearly describing sadharana moha. Ordinary delusion. What is it? Ordinary delusion is to impose all our things on the Atma. The body qualities on the Atma, superimposing. That's the first mistake. That's called Samanya Moha. All of us do it. So the second one is Asadharana Moha. That is, Swami is saying, when you Swadharmamaina yuddhamanu adharmamani taluchuta. You know, the Kshatriya's dharma is to fight. And you think, Krishna, Arjuna, that your dharma is not to fight. That is the second moha, asadharana moha.
So Auntie, the ordinary one is you identifying with the body. The second, out of ordinary, that means you are not doing your dharma.
Yeah, that's correct.
Way of saying. Okay.
The first one, sadharana dharma, you know what you are doing? You are
identifying your body.
No, not
with the body. The ordinary dharma.
No, superimposing all the qualities onto the Atma. whatever comes to your body, you are superimposing those qualities onto the Atma. That is the first mistake, first moha, sadharana moha. I am sick, your body is sick, Atma is not sick. I am very happy, your emotion is happiness. But you are saying that you're superimposing that happiness onto the Atma. Like that, you know, I have got a headache, I have got a leg pain. All these are bodily pains, but Atma is not at all affected. That's the first sadharana moham. Everybody does it. Identifying. Yeah.
So second one is discarding their own dharma, which varnas they are in, they have to do their duty. So if they discard, that is out of ordinary.
Out of it.
Yes. Okay.
Asadharana moha. That's Swami calls it.
Oh, Sayam, Auntie. So that means the first one, Arjuna is under confusion of mind, my, I with the body.
Yeah.
And because of that one, he's thinking about their relatives on the front. That is first one. Second one, he's failing because he's supposed to fight according to the dharma, but he's not fighting.
Yeah,
right?
that's second one. Yes, correct. Thank you.
Auntie, in that case, we all have to identify our own dharma.
You have to identify?
Because own dharma, we have to identify with our duty and work and yes.
It all depends on the stage of your life.
Yes.
What are your duties as a householder, grihastha dharma, what is it?
Yes.
And then, you know, because you attend office, your official duties are also there. And at home, you have householder's duty. So are we doing all those things properly? Swadharma.
Yeah, that is easy. It's not easy to identify, right? But it's really hard for every. So as every role, you have your dharmas.
Yeah.
So sometimes it will conflict with each other, right? That also you have to resolve properly to identify it. So that's not easy, I think. Because Swami said it's own dharma. Own dharma we have to identify. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Swami was also saying in the first paragraph, you say this is dharma and the other is adharma, as if you know how to distinguish them. So is that saying that it's just hopeless, like for us to try to distinguish them? That we have to
very true, Kalyani.
It's
so
very
that's
hard.
That is why because it's very if we start interpreting dharma, it becomes a problem. So that's why for a sadhaka, instructions are given, they should just follow it. So the thing is, then there is no need for your own.
What is the instructions given yet to follow? I didn't understand.
Like in Sandhya Nivarani, Swami has given you about 50 odd instructions. You know, you do this, do this, do this. Okay, so the thing is, just follow it. Don't argue, debate. Okay, because if you argue and debate, then the problem is we will also fall into Arjuna's muddle where he thinks he's thinking this is dharma when it is not dharma.
Brother, even Arjuna is thinking, we also will think, right? Which is
that's
dharma,
why. That's why. Right? That's why Krishna says, I tell you, you do. Then Arjuna comes, surrenders. Vachanam tava. You tell and I will do. I will not even question.
That's that Swami has to come and tell them, because we are thinking that
we
are doing the right thing, right?
He has already told. It's all in written in form. There's nothing new.
Interpret also different, right? So we have to really understand from.
We should understand the instruction. Not interpret. We should understand the instruction. But I think that takes effort. Yeah, that's true. I think we should not interpret. We should understand. I think that's. Like Swami here, Swami has given clear instruction. Think that you are the Atman. Okay, so then if we say, but sometimes we have to understand, for that we can ask questions and so on, I guess. But I think Kalyani is right. When we are like, when we are confused and we are attached, we will not be able to discriminate and find what is dharma.
So in that case, we just have to pray to Swami to give us some sort of answer.
I think so, because that was the question asked of Bhishma. Draupadi turns and asks Bhishma, is what they are doing dharma? She asks Bhishma. And Bhishma says, dharma is very nuanced. You really don't know what is right, wrong, Bhishma says that. So everyone is in the same boat. But Arjuna had a very simple thing. Where the Lord is, there dharma is. Don't look at anything. Find where the Lord is and just stick there, stay there.
So, brother, we do things what Swami likes, right? Every action, if you question this is Swami like, that goes that will align you with the Dharma.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sairam.
So Sairam, brother, same thing, the Guru and the devotees, we can divide it into three. When the Guru says something, the first category will do it right away without thinking. Second category will do a little bit of delay and do it. Third one, they make mistake and they postpone and do it. Thank you.
Yeah, Swami is.
Everybody silence.
No, Auntie talking, Auntie is, you are muted, Auntie. Okay.
Yeah, Arun.
Yes, Auntie.
Did Draupadi ask that question to Bhishma when she was disrobed?
Yes.
Disrobed or some other occasion, or on some other occasion?
Disrobe. Just before disrobing, she was asking.
She was asking this question. Is it dharma?
Is it
So,
dharma?
Bhishma,
I think her question was she had asked a few questions. Did Dharmaraja lose himself first?
Those questions.
And then there's
then he
all that she asked. If he has already sold himself, how can he? She asked a bunch of questions. Okay.
Yeah.
And for all this, Bhishma said, "Oh, it's very difficult to interpret or something."
How nicely he escapes. Poor lady, she was put to so much of humiliation and.
Auntie, he didn't escape.
Yeah, he escaped.
He didn't escape, Auntie. At the end, he got the punishment.
He got it.
Yes.
In spite of being such a gnani, he should, at that time, he took a wrong decision, siding with Hastinapura.
So that's why Kalyani's question is very nice question. When as individuals, it's very difficult for us to know what is dharma, what is adharma. It's not possible.
Every day, every moment, I will be feeling this question. Yeah. It's 4:25, Arun. Is it?
I think 4:25. Oh, I see. I think there's a hierarchy of dharma also, which in Dharma Vahini Swami talks about. So the higher dharma always trumps. Like Swami will say, put God first, then society second, then yourself last. So that's a hierarchy. If we follow that, then we are okay.
That is Sai too.
Yeah, that is Sai. Swami has explained that. So we need to know the hierarchy of dharma. Then we will not go wrong. When there's a conflict between dharma, that's what comes into play. Dharma sankatam. So do what pleases the Lord first, what benefits the society second, and what benefits you the last. That's the order Swami would say. But Swami says most of us other way only, go around other way. What is good for us comes first, then what helps people around us, and then we'll think of when we have time left, then we'll, God, whatever you like, we will also do that also. So I think that's, I think though if we can think about it and come back, I guess we can continue the discussion. We'll close. It's almost 4:30, I hope. Sorry, I missed the early part, but it was going on very well, so maybe it's, I didn't had to, anyway, very nice to listen to all of you, and I couldn't speak. Anyway, so if there's anything, I will just pause. If anyone has something to say, please say. Otherwise, we'll close with some sloka. Okay, so we'll close with Samastaloka. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.
Sairam to everybody.
Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam.